Celebrating the magic of March, TAC Communication Sports proudly presents the 80th Annual WIAA Boys State Basketball Championships, live from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse in Madison. This WIAA Network Sports exclusive is brought to you statewide by Cenex, Land O'Lakes, and your local cooperatives, partners you can trust. The Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, proud of their commitment to provide wholesome, naturally delicious milk and dairy products. Marshfield Clinic, physician care, medical research, professional and public education, an integrated system of care since 1916. The Rural Insurance Companies, providing Wisconsin families and businesses with a full line of insurance needs. The Wisconsin Technical College System, providing education for employment in today's high-tech world. And by Menards, helping families build America's heartland for 35 years. Save big money at Menards.
If this afternoon's games live up to this morning's games, you're in for a great afternoon. Hi, everybody. Ken Syke back at the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse, and we're all set for two Division I quarterfinal games this afternoon. But I'll tell you what, the two Division III semifinal games this morning were great games. Let's run down what's happened so far for you today. In Division III, the first game this morning, it was Ladysmith having Oostburg score 16 straight points on them in the third and fourth quarter, and Oostburg went on to a 77-58 victory. In the second game, in double overtime, Auburndale over Dodgeville 66-56. So that brings us to this afternoon. Milwaukee King 23-1 will go up against West Bend East 21-2, and then at about 3:45 or so it'll be Janesville Craig and Milwaukee Tech. Then tonight, starting at 7, two more Division I quarterfinal games. Anago 18-5 and Appleton East also 18-5 against Watertown and Wisconsin Rapids close it out for the day. Well, right now we've got Milwaukee King and West Bend East, and here to call the game are Chris Roth and Jim Jones.
Thanks very much, Ken. A pleasure to be working alongside Jim Jones from Milwaukee Hamilton, the Division I quarterfinals. Jim, Milwaukee King ranked number 1. They come in here with the pressure again, taking on West Bend East. Two teams that you're very familiar with this year.
Yes, I am. We played both of these teams. We played West Bend East earlier in the year, and we played, of course, Rufus King in conference play. Offensively, King is averaging about 75 points a ball game. West Bend East is averaging 65. Defensively, King has given up 52-3, and West Bend East 54-4. They both starred 5 seniors. Both of them have a lot of experience. West Bend East does not have any experience maybe on the fieldhouse floor, but they're senior dominant, and I think you're going to have an exciting game. They both fast break. Maybe West Bend East probably a little more under control, but I think King relies a little more on pushing the ball and creating things individually.
All right, the guys you want to watch for: Mark Thompson, the guard for the Suns; Deontay Flanoro, the big man, but it's controlled by the guards Lucius Washington and Corey Reed for the Generals, and Adam Faulkner also inside for the Suns. It's all coming up. We're looking forward to it, Kenny. Send it back to you.
Well, Chris, we hope it's as warm with the shooting as it is outside. Milwaukee King and West Bend East coming up. We'll be back with the player introductions after this timeout. This is your WIAA Network station.
If you haven't started saving for retirement, you probably think you're too young or that you can't afford to. Truth is, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. And if you think you're living from paycheck to paycheck now, consider how you'll live when your paychecks stop. Your Farm Bureau agent offers retirement planning with a variety of insurance and investment options to meet your financial needs. Call your Farm Bureau agent and start planning your retirement today.
Menards is featuring big savings on Elger bath faucets. Choose from a wide selection. A double handle faucet is $16.89 after mail-in rebate. This single handle with pop-up is $34.88 after rebate. Get the paint that works hard. Dutch Boy Confident Interior Flat Paint. It cleans easily with soap and water and is guaranteed for 6 years. Now $6.88 a gallon. Menards has your painting needs covered.
Save big money at Menards.
For the first chair alto sax who knows the fastest growing job areas are those requiring a technical education.
For the editor of the yearbook who knows tomorrow's technical careers provide higher pay, challenge, and advancement. For the captain of the track team who knows that over 90% of Wisconsin Technical College students find jobs right after graduation. The decision is simple. The answer is technical. Call the Wisconsin Technical College in your area today.
Welcome back to the field house. Milwaukee King and West Bend East coming up. Let's meet the Generals and the Suns. We turn it over to PA announcer Mike Menke.
And now, here are the starting lineups for today's Division I quarterfinal match between the Milwaukee King Generals and the West Bend East Suns. Starting at forward for Milwaukee King, a 5'9" senior, number 22, Michael Wilson. And at forward for West Bend East, a 6'2" senior, number 32, Paul Litke. At the other forward for Milwaukee King, a 6'3" senior, number 44, Adriel Hughes. And for West Bend East, at the other forward, a 6'3" senior, number 40, Ben Zukowski. Starting at center for Milwaukee King, a 6'6" senior, number 50, Deontay Flanoro. And at center for West Bend East, a 6'6" senior, number 33, Adam Faulkner. Starting at guard for Milwaukee King, a 5'9" senior, number 4, Lucius Washington. And at forward for West Bend East, a 6' senior, number 20, Mark Thompson. Starting at guard for Milwaukee King, a 5'11" senior, number 10, Corey Reed. And at the other guard for West Bend East, a 6'1" senior, number 31, Sam Blahnik. The head coach of Milwaukee King is Jim Gaz, and the head coach for West Bend East is Lee Young. The officials for today's match, as assigned by the WIAA, are Steve Gebhardt and John Probst, both from Madison.
Division I schools are from, as you look at our officials, both from Madison, West Bend East, a little northwest of Milwaukee, along the way to Oshkosh, and of course Milwaukee King from the City Conference. Jim Gaz in his 5th year with the Generals has been here 4 times to the state tournament. Lee Young, his 20th year as head coach of the West Bend East Suns. And Jim, this is his first trip. He's waited a long time for this.
Well, I think I think he's going to enjoy it. I think it was worthwhile, and I think he's won a lot of conference titles, but he's never had a chance to get here, and I think this is his opportunity.
The guys we'll be keeping an eye on in the middle, at least, Deontay Flanoro, the 6'6" senior, averaging 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 assists a game for the Generals against Adam Faulkner, the 6'6" senior center, not senator, maybe later in life. 14.6, 6.6 rebounds a game. That's the matchup.
Look for an alley-oop off this play if Flanoro gets the jump.
Okay.
He didn't get it.
Next time down the floor, that's something they talked about. Milwaukee King in the blue jerseys. The Suns in their gold jerseys, trimmed in maroon and black. And tipped out of bounds. And the Suns will reload. Ben Zukowski, 5 senior starters for the Suns. Tries to get it to Thompson and tipped out of bounds. Corey Reed, but deflected off Reed, so it'll stay with the Suns. Corey Reed will imagine be a close personal friend of Mark Thompson before this game's over.
I think both of them, Washington and Reed, both are lightning quick.
This is Thompson, swings it out. Sam Blahnik on top, working against Washington. Zukowski back to Blahnik. Size advantage on Washington. They call Washington and Reed their water bug guards. Kicked out, the jumper no good for Zukowski. Rebound, but steps. Paul Litke grabbed the board, but shuffled his feet.
That's all right. You see Paul Litke he's quick off the floor. He's a real good offensive and defensive rebounder, so they'll be around the boards.
All right, here comes King's first offensive set, and as we mentioned, They love to get Flanoral into the game early. Often it's a backdoor lob. Read well by the Suns. Faulkner the steal. Here comes Zukowski to Thompson. And the Suns lead it 2-0.
As I mentioned before, this kid Mark Thompson is probably one of the best guards in the state.
He can do it all. Leading scorer, 19 points, also 7 assists a game. Adriel Hughes has to come and get it. Tries to split. Hard off the iron, and the rebound to Faulkner. And quickly pushed up court. Blahnik tries to track it down. Does. Count it. West Bend East. Watch this shot, Jim. I don't even think he was looking at the basket.
No, but this is what West Bend East has been doing all year long. Mark Thompson sees the floor real well, and you got 5 athletes out on the athletic ball players on the floor.
You're right. I was right. He wasn't looking at the basket there. And Blahnik completes the 3-point play. West Bend East, the first 5 points of the game. Lucius Washington working against Thompson to Reed. Comes Michael Wilson running the baseline. Wilson looking into Hughes to Washington. Here comes Lucius Washington and steps.
Got to take a look at the West Bend East, the way they're pushing them and channeling to the middle, especially because the King guards are small. They're not, you know, I think the West Bend East kids are a little stronger than these kids right now.
Inbounds to Faulkner. Here's Thompson. Thompson gets it across the timeline. Now loses it. Tipped around. King gets the turnover. Here comes Lucius Washington. Pulls up. In and out. Flanoral. Finish.
5-2 West Bend East. There's the trap. Now what the West Bend guards have to do is be very careful, because they can get in a foot race with King, and that's what King wants to do. They want the transitional game. West Bend East will only take it if it's there. The proverbial controlled break, right? Yes. Inside, and there are the lightning quick hands.
Michael Wilson pried it out
Out of there, and here comes
King. Third turnover.
on the Suns.
Wilson back to Reed. Corey Reed hangs. Hughes rejected by Zukowski. But Wilson fires in the silencer. 5-4 Suns. Lob up ahead to Faulkner, but can't track it down, and there's the turnover, and you know Jim Goss likes to see that.
Well, this is what he said he was going to do. He's going to go full court pressure, 1-2-1-1, pressure him into mistakes. And if you take a look at the West Bend kids, they're on their knees already.
4 turnovers for the Suns. So now King with a shot at the lead, trailing 5-4. Nearly 3 minutes gone by our very first Division I quarterfinal. 3 more to follow this one. Day 1 of the 80th annual WIAA State Boys Basketball Tournament. Flanoral calls for it on the outside, gets Faulkner up in the air. Short, rebound to Litke, and here come the Suns. Thompson loses it to Reed. Flanoral trailer. Oh, what a fake by Reed!
That's what the King guards like to do. That's what I mentioned earlier. They like to go one-on-one. They're very unselfish. They will hit the open person, though, too.
Look at Thompson handle the ball. Pulls up. Rimming, yes.
Mark Thompson has been doing that all year long. He's been stepping up.
4 points for the Little 10 Conference Player of the Year. Washington from the baseline. Rebound, Blahnik.
You know, you take a look at the score now, and, you know, King is pressuring them. The score is 7-6.
Good pass
even though they turn the ball over 4 times, they stay after it.
Whoops. And our statistician, Don Kerr, has his hands up in the air. He has no idea how to score that one. I think you got to give it to the last guy who touched the ball. They gave it to Faulkner? Okay. With it. Zukowski, that's better. He was under the basket and touched it last. But you got to give a big assist to Deontay on that one. Suns with a 3-point lead, and Flanoral shuffled his feet. And subs into the game, 42 Eric Williams and 54 Damian Ninkovic.
was a younger brother of Dan Ninkovic that played back a few years ago.
Played last year?
Yes. This young man here is a sophomore. Very good offensive skills.
Still learning on the defensive end.
Yes.
But has progressed about the same speed, Jim Goss says, as his older brother, who was recruited.
Oh, right there he
heavily.
stepped up. Stepped up in the passing lane, so.
And then unfortunately stepped out of bounds.
Yes.
You know, he was almost there. So the Suns will trigger the inbound. Zukowski on the sideline into Thompson.
Now that's a person that will handle the ball and hit the open man just like he did there.
Nice screen roll by Faulkner, a bit clumsy, but it's effective. He dropped the ball, but able to pick it up and knock it home. It's a 5-point Suns lead. Pretty move by Ninkovic, and there's that offensive polish you were talking about, Jim.
Exactly.
Washington comes up for the trap. They break it, and then the foul on Washington.
I think what's happening here, too, is Mark Thompson has slid to the middle, and they've given the other guard, number 31, the ball to take some of the pressure off of Mark. Because Mark, I think, is getting a little tired.
Well, the foul is on Washington, and that sends Litke to the line. Just 43% from the free throw line on the season. Litke, honorable mention, all conference, as the Suns won the Wisconsin Little 10 Conference this year. And they come in with a record of 21-2 as Litke misses the first. Paul Litke staring right into the King crowd. Pretty uncomfortable feeling. But that'll help. Rebound by his teammate Zukowski. Oh, I can't believe that didn't go down. Look at him keep it alive, though. Blana kept it alive, and then Litke traveled.
Well, you know, Chris,
we'll come back to the field house, but first, a word from our statewide sponsors, Cenex Land O'Lakes. This is your WIAA network station.
We need a lot of elbow grease to keep our wheels a-turning. We use midnight oil, figuring ways to keep our home fires burning. We're all part of the country, and the country's part of us. We do our deals with handshakes and partners we can trust. Sun and rain and work and play keep us growing every day. We do our jobs for wheat and corn and sweet, sweet smelling hay. Yeah, we're all part of the country, and the country's part of us. You and me and Cenex Land O'Lakes are partners we can trust. That's right.
oh, that's
Welcome back to the field house. West Bend East, the Suns with a 3-point lead, and they're doing it because they're shooting the ball very well.
well, they're 6 of 10, West Bend, and Milwaukee King is 3 of 10. Rebounding-wise, King has 2 rebounds, and West Bend East has 8. That's one of West Bend's strengths.
And the Suns fans, their first time into the house. As the Generals will work the length of the floor here, trailing by 3, 2:48 to go, opening quarter. Ninkovic and Eric Williams still in the game for King. Starting 5 still on the floor for the Suns. Inside, Ninkovic stolen away by Zukowski. Thompson on the push. Thompson to the rack. Short, Flanoro the rebound.
I had a felt on that one. He probably should have dished off the 33 going down the court on the side. He was wide open.
Washington leave, but oh, they called a travel. Both officials blowing their whistles. Thought we might have a foul call as Washington went down the lane, but took an extra step to get there. Michael Wilkes comes into the game to replace Lucius Washington. Wilkes, a sophomore, 5'8" guard, 6 of 8 free throws in the sectional final in the win over Waukesha West. He did that 6 of 8 free throw shooting in the fourth quarter. But Wilkes quickly picks up a foul. We'll remind you that the WIAA State Tournament is brought to you statewide by the Wisconsin Technical College System with over 300 career programs at 16 colleges throughout Wisconsin.
Now, West Bend East got to be the iron 5 because he hasn't substituted as yet.
Says he goes 9 deep. There's a steal by Wilkes. Wilkes to the rack. Blocked from behind by Blahnik. King saves it, though. Nice hustle by Sam Blahnik. Flanoral, a 3, short. Rebound to Eric Williams.
That shot that Flanoral just took is a new dimension of his game. He's hit a couple threes during the course of the year.
People might remember Deontay's flourishing finishes last year during the state tournament. The guy was cleaning the top of the backboard. He was up so high. Offensive foul as Wilkes went in hard to the rack. East able to draw the foul. No basket.
The Milwaukee King foul is on number 30.
Second foul quickly on Michael Wilkes. Only been in the game a couple minutes. Oh, breaking long. Sam Blahnik missed it. They missed a couple layups the last few times down the floor.
Probably surprised them being that wide open.
Maybe they're worried about Flanoral trailing. Reed needs some help. Nearly stolen. Wilkes able to pick it up. Good aggressive defense by the Suns.
Yeah, I think so, and I think also King is kind of getting out of sync of what they've been doing all year long, too.
Reed out top inside of a minute now. Still 11-8 West Bend East. Lukowski and Blahnik on the track. Wilkes out to Flanoral. Steps up. He'll shoot that one. That's a little bit closer.
Well, you remember last year now, he didn't shoot many jump shots. Now he's kind of opening up his game now by doing that.
Which has opened up a lot of opportunities for him. College is looking pretty hard at Deontay Flanoral. And there's what Corey Reed can do. Picks the pocket. Gives it up to Eric Williams. Goes in hard. Fouled by Thompson.
Not taking anything away from West Bend East, but I tell you, with that quickness, if you haven't seen it, like I alluded to earlier, is that you never get used to it.
Here it comes. Watch this. He'll just absolutely pick your pocket.
Right there, with the quick hands and with his speed, and kicked it off to number 42, and he got fouled. He'll be stepping up to the free throw line.
What you couldn't see on there, the conclusion of the play, was Adam Faulkner did his Deontay Flanoral imitation, knocked it into his own basket. Of course, it did not count. So, but now we get some subs here for the final 26.1 for the Suns. 52 is Jason Service.
I tell you take a look at the West Bend East kid's face. Number 20, number 33, they're all sucking for air.
Tim Schrader is also into the game, a junior guard, number 12. Lawrence Washington, the younger brother of Lucius Washington, has come in number 12 for King. 1 out of 2 for Williams, but Adriel Hughes missed it, nearly kept it alive, and did.
That's what the young fella does for them. He's their second leading rebounder. I just kept the ball alive and missed a shot, but that's what Coach
Very
Balls want him to do.
We got some confusion here as Jim Gaz trying to get in some of his starters for the final 22.9. I guess he'll play for the last possession. That's exactly what he'll do. He'll put the remaining starting 4 in Flanoral, Michael Wilson, Lucius Washington, and Corey Reed, and probably play for 1, Jim?
Yes.
Tied at 11, 22.9. Oh, and a turnover, and that yesterday we were talking to Jimmy Gaz, and he said out of bounds plays. I got 25, and none of them work. And that's a perfect example. So he turned it over and giving the Suns a crack at it before the end of the first quarter. Better go. Boy, Corey Reed will flat out undress you out there.
Well, as good a guard as Thompson is, he doesn't want to put that ball on the floor because...
Oh, rejected by Flanoral. Rejected by Flanoral. And then a foul on Hughes with .5 left.
Now, what Dante just did there by blocking those shots there, you can see on the instant replay there, is that he got 1 block and he came back and got 2 blocks. And then, of course, Hughes picked up the foul. But this fires up the King kids when he does things like that, blocking shots and dunking the ball.
Very active. The second block was it was coming off the backboard. That was kind of weird. I don't know if you get credit for a block in that situation.
I think he slapped that off the board, though.
He wasn't in danger of going in, but you can't pin him on the back.
No,
can you?
right. You can slap him against it.
And number 12.
Well, here comes Lawrence Washington and Eric Williams. And 24, Antoine Warren. He has Lipke going to the line. Missed 2 earlier. Game tied at 11. 0.5 left. That one was good.
And to the line for West Bend East, number 40, then Zakowski.
Zakowski gets Adam Faulkner for the final half second, so he doesn't pick up a cheapie in case there's a rebound situation. Lipke can give his team a 2-point cushion heading into the first quarter break. Rebound Ninkovic, and that's the end of the first quarter. West Bend East with a 1-point lead over top-ranked King. We'll be back to the field house after a word from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
Things have changed since 1965. Time and progress march on. And though the land hasn't changed, how you work it has. But one thing has stood the test of time. Banvel. It's still the broadleaf herbicide for corn, for control that lasts from spike to canopy. Sure, things change in 30 years. Banvel just hasn't needed to. Banvel. 30 years, and still the best.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Terry Laughlin could take his truck back to the dealer for brake work. After all, it's close to his house. Real close. But Terry'd rather drive down the street to CarX.
I trust him. And who wants to pay dealer prices?
At CarX, we fix only what needs fixing.
Pads and rotors. The back brakes are fine.
And we do it while you wait. For brake repair, people say,
I'd go back.
Yeah, I'd go back to CarX.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Welcome back to the Fieldhouse. 1 quarter in the books. West Bend East leading Milwaukee King 12-11 as we take a look, Jim, at the pick and save first quarter stats. And West Bend East has cooled off. They were hot early.
Oh, they've cooled off. They're 5 of 13. Milwaukee Kings 5 of 14. 36%, 38%, 8 to 10 rebounds. In the paint points, West Bend has 10 and King has 6. But even after all those turnovers earlier in the game, they're still in the ball game.
Yeah. In fact, they're leading by 1. All those stats tell you one thing.
Yes.
It's a close game.
Yes.
So there you go.
I'll tell you something about West Bend East defense, too.
As you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, only giving up 54.5. King accustomed to scoring a little bit more than that.
75.
Michael Wilson looking for Flanoral. Corey Reed swings to Washington. Starting 5 out there for both teams.
You can see they're going back to a little more set, and they're playing a little under control the way that I think Coach Gauze would like them to play.
Wow, Mark Thompson went flying right into our broadcast table. But out of bounds to the Suns.
Well, that's the way the West Bend East kids play. Hard. They're hard-nosed, and they play really hard.
Sam Blahnik out top. Maybe the definition of toughness. We'll get into that story a little bit later on.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, what a move by Paul Lipke. Surprising maybe even himself.
Well, I don't know, Chris. He's been doing that all year long. I know he did it against us when we played him, too. So he's a pretty good athlete.
They said he can get up, and he certainly showed it there.
He certainly can.
Tipped away by Lipke. Washington pulls up inside the free throw line. Washington puts King back within 1, his first 2 of the game.
Well, Lucius has been playing really well this year, and he complements Reed really well this year also. I think he's probably been playing really well.
Look at Corey Reed working. Picked up a foul. He nearly poked it away. That's one thing Jim Gauze talked about, is that his defensive pressure from his guards can push the offense so far out. As we take a look.
You take a look on the monitor where this young man's going to the hoop. He's been doing that all year long. He's very athletic, does a great job. Jumps really well.
3-point basket by 6'6" Adam Faulkner. And he can shoot them, too. 38% on the year, second best on the team. In fact, only 2 guys on the team shoot threes. That's the point guard, Mark Thompson, and the center, Adam Faulkner.
Well, that's what Adam Faulkner does. He'll lull you to sleep, and he'll punch outside, and he'll cut the baskets outside.
And that means Flanoro will have to come out and guard him.
Yes.
Ninkovic in and out.
That's all right. That was a good look by the young kid, and he can definitely shoot the basketball, and I hope he keeps doing that.
Loose ball. Whoa, what a heady play by Paul Lipke. Threw it right off Ninkovic.
We just mentioned that young man's name a few minutes ago, and he came up with another key play.
Paul Lipke with St. Patrick's Day approaching. He looks like a very angry leprechaun. Oh, long up court pass to Washington. Washington heard the big steps of Adam Faulkner, who ran over one of the reporters down there and had the presence of mind to turn around and ask if she was okay. Right in the heat of battle. What a nice guy. Great move. The reverse. Jim Goss burns a timeout. He's not happy with his team. King trailing the Suns by 6. Not what Jim Goss wanted in this ballgame.
Well, I think that's probably what Coach Goss was a little afraid of. You know, they may be looking a little beyond West Bend East, and West Bend East, I had mentioned before, it's one of the most underrated teams in the state.
Here comes the highlight of the last King basket. Blahnik on the break.
Once again, he got the pass from who? Mark Thompson.
As Sam Blahnik takes it in, the senior. Here's the story with Sam Blahnik. As a sophomore, he was going to go play basketball. He broke his ankle, missed the season. He went to play summer baseball, and at the state tournament, there was a collision in the outfield. Blahnik went down. He started coughing up blood. They realized something was terribly wrong with him. They took him to the hospital. They got him into the emergency room, started checking him out. His abdomen had started to swell. They put a needle in there, and blood started spurting out. It turns out they had to do an emergency surgery on Blahnik to remove his spleen. 5 minutes, they were throwing people out of the emergency room to get this kid into surgery. His parents watched them wheel him off, not knowing if they'd ever see him wheeled back. Yes. It was that serious for Sam Blahnik. He came back the next season and played football. He's the quarterback for the football team, as you see Sam right there. So he has to have his spleen removed because of a collision in baseball, yet he's the starting quarterback for the football team. Oh, by the way, he missed his junior year in basketball because he had to have more surgery on his ankle.
Well, and he wanted to be a part of this team. All of these young people have played together since they were in grade school, and they're doing it right now.
They're doing a number on #1 ranked King, too, leading it by 6. 5:20 to go at till the half. WIAA Kimdima is into the game, number 20, as Flanoro shakes free and knocks home the bucket. 6 points for Deontay Flanoro.
And I think that's where he's picked up a little from last year, where he was just strictly on the block. Now he's a little more movement. He's shooting the jump shot. He's doing a good job.
You see how well King turns up their intensity on defense here after the chewing out by Jim Goss as Flanoro forces a turnover on Faulkner.
I think probably what Coach Lee Young wants his players to do once to play and to bring it out and be patient, and they're very successful when they do that at half-court basketball.
Well, now King will walk it up.
Well, I think they're probably doing that because their transition game hasn't been working.
My goodness! Oh, there it is, Jim.
That's what they've been working on from the jump tip, and they work that all of the time.
That gets them on their feet in the field house. It's a 2-point Suns lead. The lob to Flanoro. The impressive thing about it was the lob was short. He had to reach down and get it and could still dunk it.
Yes.
Here it comes. Watch this, folks.
This is what King does all of the time. You can't rest at all. You got to look for the back door on Flanoro from Reed or one of the guards.
Thompson to the rack. Oh boy, he's had tough luck down there. Now King with a chance at the tie. Kadima for 3. Ninkovic high for the rebound, and then he's fouled. I think that's by Sam Blahnik.
Kid had just shot the jump shot from the baseline, have come in and picked up for Coach Dawes in some key games during the course of the year, too.
Flanoral turnaround short, tipped around. Ninkovic tries it. Ninkovic again hustling to save it, but does to Faulkner. Thompson to Faulkner out high. Here comes a three. In and out. Ninkovic grabs the loose ball, leaves it for Washington. Oh. Flanoral. Oh my, a three. No, they give him a two. He was right on the line.
That's all right. That's where he's opened up his game. He's beginning to shoot the outside shot. And I mentioned before, he's hit a couple trays during the course of the year. So this should be interesting.
I'll tell you what, Jim, he picked a good spot on the floor to do it, right in front of a couple of college coaches on press row, scouting Deontay Flanoral. Well, one current college coach and one recently out-of-work college coach. Blahnik stripped from behind by Kadima. Missed the rebound. Missed the layup, rather, but the rebound to Adam Faulkner. Faulkner now with 7 in the game. East back to a 2-point lead.
Well, if anyone thought this was going to be a one-sided game, was wrong. We had mentioned before, very underrated West Bend East team.
WIAA Kadima, kaboom!
Now, number 20, you're going to have to guard because he's come in some key situations and hit some key free throws and some key shots for Coach Gauds during the course of the year.
Three-point basket gives King the lead at 22-21 as Lee Young looks on. 2:33 to go. Looks like Eric Williams is back into the game, as is Michael Wilkes for King. And I think something we got to watch, Jim, is how well these East kids will hold up because, as you mentioned, towards the end of the first quarter, not a lot of substitution.
No.
And Mark Thompson, I think, is going to be frustrated by the end of this afternoon because Corey Reed's just not giving him any room to breathe.
Oh, you got to be anytime two guards put that much pressure on. I mean, he's not looking to shoot the ball.
He made a beautiful pass. Blahnik wasn't ready, but look at the steal by Zukowski, who's down. Zukowski slipping on the floor right in front of us, but back up and seems to be okay. Here's the play. Watch Zukowski go hard. After a fall like that, he deserves a Coke. So Reed will inbound. King with a 1-point lead. Lobs it into the backcourt. That's Michael Wilkes. Kadima, Flanoral. Couldn't quite get it to fall, but Deontay will go to the free throw line. Jim King this year has played a brutal schedule, and that's, I think you got to give Jim Gauds a lot of credit because he will play all comers. He won't shy away from tough games. He takes them on the road. He went down to Chicago. They lost to King. Down in Chicago, their only loss in overtime. They went up to Wasaukie, a ranked team. They went to Stevens Point. They go to the hostile environment.
Yeah, and even in regional and sectional play, they had to go to Tulsa East. They had to win one there. Then they had to go out to Waukesha West, who's playing very well, played them in their building, and they beat them in overtime. They've stepped up, and I think up in Wasaukie earlier in the year, his 2-point guards did not play because they were being disciplined.
That was a close win. That was 59-54 King, but the two starting guards obviously didn't play in that game. But nevertheless, Jim Gauds has an interesting philosophy about playing teams and traveling, and interesting to talk to him. Next year, in fact, they'll play in a tournament in Detroit. As Lipke missed the reverse, King with a 3-point lead after the free throws by Flanoral. And Lipke fouled Kadima, who was able to turn the corner on him. Antoine Warren, 24, also into the game for King. And there you get a look at Paul Lipke. His first foul of the game, but he hasn't come out of the game. Pretty tough to move those feet in front of WIAA Kadima when you've been playing the entire half.
Especially been with the pace that these two teams have been running.
Kadima looking for Eric Williams. Flanoral. He's given Faulkner a lot to think about here in the first half.
Well, you take a look at the West Bend East kids too. They're not as active. They don't have the foot speed that they've had. They're kind of standing flat foot. They're not anticipating like they were earlier when they were fresh.
Antoine Warren lost it out of bounds. So the Suns, and there's a couple of college coaches. Kevin O'Neill, the former coach at Marquette, now at Tennessee. looking pretty hard and heavy at Deontay Flanoral, and then Stan Van Gundy, who up until a couple days ago was the head coach here at the University of Wisconsin, a longtime assistant under Stu Jackson. I'd say too long, I guess 2 years under Stu Jackson, but whose stay here was rather brief as well. The foul will send Litke to the free throw line with 1:02 to go.
His first, team 7.
Remind you that the state tournament brought to you statewide by the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, proud of their commitment to provide wholesome, naturally delicious milk and dairy products. And Blahnik checks out of the game as Tim Schrader comes back in, the junior guard. Litke 1 out of 4. 1 out of 5. And on the push comes the Generals. Eric Williams rebounds his own miss.
I think the way King got that lead back is probably with the fresh legs, the way Coach Gauze has been substituting. And, of course, West Bend East has not been doing that.
Maybe tired legs on that shot for Faulkner as well. Oh. And a foul on Antoine Warren as he lost the outlet pass from Wilkes, and then he fouled Mark Thompson. And the Suns in the bonus. Thompson will trot on down. And at 80%, Lee Young feels good about his chances here of cutting into a 5-point King lead.
Has Thompson scored at all in the ball game?
I think Thompson's got, what, 4 points? And they were very early, right, Don Kerr? Very early.
And he's their leading scorer. What, over 18?
19 points, 7 assists a game, 3.6 steals a game. Interesting, too, he's been in double figures every game of the year.
Yes.
So that bears watching. In and out on the bonus situation on the free throw.
Well, you mentioned he shot 80%, and then I alluded earlier, I think, to the West Bend kids being tired and not moving. That has to take a little bit of effect when you're shooting free throws also.
20 seconds left. You see it in the lower right of your screen. King with a 5-point lead. Kadima looked at a 3. Hangs, misfires. Kept alive. Flanoral. Williams. Out of bounds to the Suns. Paul Litke working hard. Going against 2 King players on the glass. Paul Litke.
That's right. He's still battling.
Substitution for King, number 12, Lawrence Washington.
Lawrence Washington back in. And Michael Wilson also back in.
As well as number 44, Adriel Hughes.
And Adriel Hughes for the final 1.3 of the half. 26-21 King. They're in the blue. Thompson nearly picked off by Wilson. We'll go to the half. The Generals of King with a 5-point lead over the Suns. We'll return to the field house with Ken Syke and our halftime activities, stats and highlights, all that good stuff after a word from our statewide sponsors, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Marshfield Clinic. This is your WIAA network station.
Why are all these people lined up? Milk. Steam, coffee. Cafe au lait for about $1.50 a pop, huh? Hey, couldn't they also microwave some milk and make their own at home for about a dime? Just a thought. Milk, good fast food. It does a body good. Uh-oh, late for work again. What about breakfast? Yogurt, very healthy, and some OJ. And a banana, very smart. Yeah, great tie. Oh, yeah, you're a pro at this. Hey, where are you going? What, are you in a hurry? Yogurt, good fast food for the bakers of milk. Ow.
As a kid, before I could even stand on ice skates, I had a winning advantage, my parents. While I was growing up, my parents made sure I had what was really important. Plenty of love, support, and the best health care. Today, my wife Robin and I are doing the same for the prize of our lives, our daughter Jane. When it comes to a child's health, it's no secret. Only the best will do.
Marshfield Children's #1 care for kids.
Wraparound pass to Kulwicki. A rainbow J. Bingo! Carrot along the base. Eyes up the target, hits it. 30 more to his already huge total.
Hey, now you can score even more great savings at Pick and Save with the new Advantage Plus card.
Looks over the competition, drives the lane, goes up high, and scores.
Just ask for your free card and look for extra savings throughout the store.
Youngster hands it off to Jenkins. Checks once, checks twice, the give and go.
Pick and Save's free Advantage Plus card. Now you can score big savings, too.
The jam! Count it.
Halftime at the Fieldhouse as the West Bend East Suns Pompon squad performing here. The Suns trailing the Generals of King by 5. Chris Roth and Jim Jones back with you here at the Fieldhouse. And Jim, King able to turn things around. They trailed for a while. They weren't really doing what they wanted to do. Jim took a timeout, and then he got his team going. What did he do?
He probably reminded him of the state tournament game last year when they lost to Stevens Point, and remember to focus on the reason that they're here. And they got back into sync, not playing the helter-skelter type basketball. They went back to the way they've been playing all year long.
And created some havoc for West Bend East, creating some turnovers. Good pressure there. Jim and I will be back with stats and highlights, but first let's go across the way to Ken Sykes with a special guest. Ken.
Thank you, Chris. Our special guest is the Executive Director of Wisconsin Special Olympics, Dennis Aldridge. Dennis, good to have you here and be part of the excitement.
Great day for basketball.
Oh, it's always a great day when you have 6 games in one day.
No kidding, no kidding.
I understand that Wisconsin Special Olympics has some new activities planned. Is that right?
Well, you're right. And we have our own version of March Madness up in Oshkosh the end of this month. And one of the activities that we have, actually we did a little bit last year, is called Unified Sports, where we have our athletes with cognitive disabilities and other athletes without those disabilities form together on a team and playing team sports. This year we'll have about 10 teams in our tournament. In addition to that, we also have 40 other basketball teams, basketball skills contests, and gymnastics. So it's going to be a busy weekend up in Oshkosh end of the month.
And I understand you also have some state games coming up too, is that right?
Yeah, later on this summer we have our annual summer games up in Stevens Point, and we're looking forward to that. It's one of our biggest events of the year. And of course we have many activities, many sports going on up there. And some of the athletes this year are going to be using our summer games as kind of a jumping off point for our World Summer Games in New Haven, Connecticut. And we're really excited about that. We're taking a delegation of about 100 athletes to New Haven, Connecticut. And we'll be participating in about 10 of the 19 sports out there. So we're really excited about that. One of the parts of it that's kind of nice is there's a torch run, which involves the law enforcement community around the world. And we've been fortunate enough to have one of our officers, Jeff Wardell from the Wausau Police Department, be part of the final leg. He's going to be running from Ellis Island all the way to the Yale Bowl.
Now we're going to show some video of that in a moment here, but how is that trip to the international games being funded, Dennis?
We have a couple of ways we're doing it, a variety of special event fundraising projects that are involved in what we're calling Adopt an Athlete program. It costs about $1,000 per athlete to send one of our delegate members out to New Haven. So we're also looking to raise about $100,000 through this project. We've got activities that Shopco and Railvac, American Family, a lot of other of our corporate supporters are helping us out. So we really appreciate the fine support that we've had in Wisconsin over the years, and this is kind of a special opportunity to give 100 members of our delegation a real treat.
I'm sure the international games are very special. And as far as Wisconsin Special Olympics are concerned, do you have any other special events, Dennis?
We've got quite a few things on a year-round basis that it really kind of displays our activities. But one of the things I want to do is really thank the WIAA. Karen Kuhn and Doug Chickering have really been supportive to us, helping us promote our program. I think this is the 4th year in a row we've had an opportunity to tell the state a little bit about our program with the girls and the boys state finals. And, you know, many of the high schools throughout the state offer high school letters and numerals to our athletes, and that's really an incredible accomplishment. So we really appreciate the WIAA.
Well, Dennis, it's always also good to have you and Wisconsin Special Olympics involved. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Okay, well, it's interesting. We have a 5-point game right now, but the scoreboard apparently has gone out, so I can't tell you exactly how much time is less than the half. But let's go back cross court to Chris and Jim for highlights and stats.
Well, that's all right, Ken. That gives Jim and I a lot more time to blabber here at halftime because we have all the time in the world. We have no clock, we have no score, but we do have a score. It's just not on the board. It's 26-21 King. Jim, let's take a look back at some of the first half highlights. And the pressure that we talked about that King would give, forcing some turnovers here.
Well, that's what King's been doing all year long. And Mark Thompson, the first half has had a hard time handling the basketball, and you have to credit the King guards and pressure for that.
Corey Reed there. Paul Lipke with a good first half. Very active.
Well, yeah, he's very athletic, and the kid's everywhere. He's on the floor. He's on his scores table. He has a whole lot of desire to win, and that's what you have to do is hustle. That's what he's doing.
Deontay Flanoro, we told you about him, the guy to watch, the matchup in the middle. He showed us a little bit of everything in the first half, Jim.
Yeah, he has. He's really stepped up his game from just being an inside player where he can go out and handle the ball a little bit, post up a little bit, and he's been shooting the outside shot, so he's added that outside touch.
And he's still got his trademark right here.
On the lob, which is a trademark, and they've been doing that for the past couple of years. You have to be aware of that all the time.
Here are the leading scorers. Flanoro with 12. Williams with 3. Adam Faulkner's got 7, the big center for West Bend East. Bart Thompson just 4, though, the leading scorer. Interesting enough, both those guys, Jim, have signed letters of intent. They will go play at University of Minnesota Duluth, that being Adam Faulkner and Mark Thompson, so they will be teammates again next year. Thompson, though, the leading scorer at 19 points a game with only 4. The pick and save stats, what jumps out at you, Jim?
Well, I think everything is about even, and it's only about a 5-point ball game. Well, what stands out with me is the 75% free throw shooting as opposed to West Bend East 29% free throw shooting. Otherwise, rebounding is pretty even. Turnovers are pretty even. Each team has 1-3 apiece. And West Bend East has shot the ball 4 times less than Milwaukee King, 27-23.
Well, we talked about the fact that West Bend East hasn't played a lot of guys off the minute. Only one guy off the bench has played a total of 1 minute. So tired legs. We'll see what will happen. I think we're trying to get the clock figured out here at the Fieldhouse. While they work on it, we're going to hear from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
Clarity to control. Clarity to control. Clarity to control. Broadleaf and corn, section 4.
Control to clarity. Engage.
In the war against broadleaf weeds, Clarity has superior crop safety and 0 resistance.
Got him without atrazine.
Clarity to control. Red alert. Perennial sighted. Section 2.
No problem. I register no more broadleaves.
Maintain residual control till crop is grown.
Clarity. Advanced technology, a higher standard of broadleaf control.
Are you considering building a new home? Whether it's your first home or that dream home you've been waiting for, make sure you consider the elegance and affordability of brick. Your home is perhaps the largest single investment in your lifetime, and for as little as 6% more than the popular plastics being used today, you can have the best, brick. Invest wisely. Choose brick, a 6% investment with a guaranteed return. For more information, call the Brick Marketing Council of Wisconsin at 1-800-65-BRICK.
Welcome back to the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse. The Generals lead the Sun by a score of 26-21. Well, things always happen at the Fieldhouse, and apparently our scoreboard clock is back, and we've got about 25 seconds before the horn to start the third quarter. So let's go back once again to our Chris Roth and Jim Jones.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Thanks putting in a little overtime there at the halftime session as everyone trying to get an idea of what's going on. West Bend East, I think, thought they might have some extra time with the clock down. They're just going through their warm-ups. As the clock here at the Fieldhouse, the scoreboards went out for a brief minute. It's 26-21, the Generals of King. West Bend East just coming out of the locker room, Jim, so it's going to be a little bit yet before we get underway. Let's touch back on what we were talking about just before we pitched to the last commercial break. Fatigue, bench strength. West Bend East playing 2 guys off the bench, a total of 1 minute, while Jim Gaz has substituted 4 or 5 guys who've played at least 5-6 minutes in the game in the first half.
And I think that's going to be the key to the result of this ball game with the way that Coach Gaz is putting in kids and taking kids out. And, of course, West Bend's only used actually 5 kids because the one sub, Schroeder, only played 1 minute.
Yeah. service getting in for the blink of an eye, really.
Yes.
In the first half. So we'll see. But a little extra time there at the half certainly won't hurt the Suns. If you need a little extra time or need a little extra help getting your memories together from the boys and girls state basketball tournament or the WIAA hockey championship, we can take care of that for you. You can order your own official 1995 tournament video. Cost only $17.99, and they'll ship the video right to your door. So call today. Video memories that will last a lifetime, almost as long as this halftime. Here at the Fieldhouse, first Division I quarterfinal coming up next. Janesville Craig and Milwaukee Tech. And then tonight, Anago and Appleton East. And then Wisconsin Rapids and Watertown in the nightcap. Already today in Division III semifinals, Oostburg knocked out Ladysmith. And then in double overtime, Auburndale knocked off Dodgeville 66-56 in double overtime. That will be the Division III championship Saturday night at 6:30.
Oh.
Well, looks like we're just about set here as fans still trying to find their way into the seats. They thought they had a little extra time out there at the concession stands, but we are ready to start the second half. Milwaukee King ranked number 1 taking on West Bend East. King leading by 5 at the break.
Still a close ball game. I expect West Bend East not to maybe push the ball as much as they did the first half because of using 5 kids or 6 kids, I think they'll pick their spots.
Starting 5 on the floor. Mark Thompson, Sam Blahnik, Paul Litke, Adam Faulkner, Ben Zukowski, and inbounds to Thompson and knocked away by Washington. As King will go with Flanoral, Adriel Hughes, Corey Reed, Lucius Washington, and Michael Wilson. This is Thompson. I know they'd love to get him going.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Chris, is that they got to get him in the flow. I think that's what they're doing. King went to a zone.
Blocked from behind by Hughes, and here comes King on the run. Washington out ahead of the pack to the rack. King by 7. 4 points for Lucius Washington. And a little over-aggressiveness by Corey Reed.
Milwaukee King fouls on number 10, Corey Reed, his second, the team's first.
Oh, this is what King does best, their transition game. And they pushed it down, got the first basket of the second half.
And look where Mark Thompson's starting that offense from, on the W. That's how far out King's guards will push you. That makes it tough to get into your flow. Maybe Thompson will hit the 3. No. Kept alive by Wilson. Everybody on the floor. And now a jump ball. Possession 2, King. What do you do, Jim, when a defense pressure pushes the ball out so far to start your offensive set? You got to go backdoor. You got to look for those cuts.
Well, you got to look for the cuts, but there's a lot of pressure on the guards handling the basketball. You don't have much time to make those decisions. And like I mentioned before, if you haven't done that all year long and you play a team that's this quick, it's your first time, there's some adjustments that you have to make. It's not easy.
Well, Flanoro's going to try another 3. Kaboom!
Yeah.
Deontay Flanoro with 15 points in the game.
And he's the difference.
Kings lead now 10. That's easily the largest of the game, and I think a timeout burned by Lee Young. The Suns want to talk it over. We'll come back to the Fieldhouse after this word from our statewide sponsors, Menards and the Wisconsin Technical College System. This is your WIAA network station.
Menards can help give your home the perfect look. Starting with Armstrong's wide selection of vinyl flooring. Exelon floor tiles are just 49 cents each. Intrepid flooring never needs waxing, just $4.77 a square yard. Remove paint or stain easily with Parks Pro Stripper. Simply apply and scrape off. 1 gallon is $3.99 after $6 mail-in rebate. Save at Menards for all your home needs.
Save big money at Menards.
Which college education will prepare you for 2 out of 3 of the fastest growing new careers? Which 16 colleges offer over 300 specialties? And which college student credentials are so good that 90% land jobs soon after graduation? The answer is Technical, the Wisconsin Technical College System. Education with a higher degree of value. Call this number to find out more.
Well, the Generals of King building a 10-point lead as they scored the first 5 points here in the second half, and West Bend East in that timeout trying to figure it out. You can see the color on the face of Adam Faulkner as the matchup between Faulkner and Flanoral has gone in favor of Deontay so far. Deontay has 2 3-pointers and Faulkner 1. That's kind of unusual when you talk about centers.
Also, you know, it makes it really hard for Mark Thompson, who's been distributing the basketball, to get it to the other players that's been scoring for him when they had that much pressure on him. Plus, I think he's tired.
Well, here's Thompson up top. Washington on him. Rubs off a screen, screen roll to Faulkner, and Reed tried to steal it down low. He's going to pick up another foul. I believe that's 2. 3, says Don Kerr.
The King foul is on number 10, Corey Reed, his 3rd, the team's 2nd. At the line for...
Well, I think you're probably right where Coach Young just called a timeout. They went to some basic screen and roll down the lane with Thompson and Faulkner.
So Faulkner 67% on the season. In and out on the first one. We mentioned at halftime, Faulkner will be going to the University of Minnesota Duluth next year to play basketball along with teammate Mark Thompson. As Corey Reed comes out of the game and WIAA Kadima takes his spot. 1 out of 2 for the senior. First points of the half for West Bend East.
West Bend still in man-to-man.
They tried to double down on Washington, got the shot away, and the rebound to the Suns, who are on the run. Litke. Oh, in and out. Tipped around. Rebound, Flanoral. Out to Kadima.
That was a tough break on that shot that went halfway in.
Washington for 3. Rebound, Kadima. Trying to find some room and then fouled by Litke, who's shaking his head because he still can't believe that layup didn't go down.
I don't think that Coach Gauze wanted that shot taken down there that quickly either, where they got that transition basket that went halfway down and came out for West Bend East also.
Well, King will trigger underneath the Suns basket into Flanoral. Puts it on the floor. Wilson. Michael Wilson hits his average. He's got 4. Suns trying to break the pressure. Faulkner, oh, don't put it down on the floor against these guards. Washington to the rack. 6 points for Lucius. It's a 13-point lead for the Generals. They better get it across now. They find Litke. Now it's 2-on-1. Blahnik against Flanoral. Sam Blahnik was 7.
Well, it's picking up a little bit now, Chris.
We'll look for one of those lobs, I think, to Flanoral, huh?
He comes up the line. That's what's going to happen.
Here it is. Boy, they almost made me look real good there.
Yes.
Well, that didn't look very good for the Suns. King on a 3-on-2. A blocking foul on Faulkner.
Well, I don't think West Bend is taking too good care of the basketball right now.
Here's what the Suns might see in their sleep.
Well, anytime you put the ball on the floor around those 2 quick guards, they're going to pick it up. You can't put it on the floor.
I didn't realize that Washington finished the layup with such style. The scissor kick there. Very impressive. Ninkovic into the game, the double clutch. Flanoral, the rebound. And a foul on Litke. Boy, I tell you what, they weren't kidding when they said Paul Litke can jump.
Yes.
He was right up there with Flanoral. Look at the intensity on Jim Gott.
I also like the way that Flanoral, last year, you know, he would probably gather himself and try to dunk it. This year, he picked the ball up and tried to lay it in. Went to the free throw line.
Yeah, able to draw the foul. 15 points working for the senior. Schools looking at Deontay Flanoral. We mentioned and showed you that Kevin O'Neill is in the house, the former Marquette coach, now the head coach at Tennessee. They're looking at him. Villanova interested. Kansas State looking at him, as is Xavier. So some decisions coming for Deontay Flanoro. 17 points now for Deontay. Well, West Bend East needs a bucket here, no doubt about it. Oh, Wilson nearly picked the pocket of Thompson.
Yeah.
And there he is, way out high again. Rubs off the screen, but Flanoro runs at him. And then it's tipped around and picked up by Faulkner, who forces. Tipped home by Zukowski.
Well, he stayed after it and he got it. But I think they're running out of gas again, too. They look really slow of foot coming down court.
Washington to Flanoro. Two-post offense now with Ninkovic. Ninkovic turns and kicks out. Kadima. Kaboom!
I had mentioned earlier about that young man hitting the outside shot and making his free throws. He's done that all year long.
14-point lead for King. That's the largest of the game. And to make matters worse for the Suns, they look down and there's two fresh subs waiting to check in for King.
Yes.
So depth is really starting to show the tail, and Jay Wilson across the way with the great hands.
The King falls on number 54, Damian Ninkovic.
Except what Jay doesn't know is that not when he, like back when he used to play, I think it was in the 50s, Jay Wilson could use stickum. But we don't allow that anymore, Jay.
I think what you've seen with the young Ninkovic, too, is that he's stepped up defensively, too, where he's gone after some balls in the passing lane.
3-point field goals. King, 3 out of 5. Actually, I think they've got 4, because doesn't Deontay may have...
He had one in the first half.
Actually, they called that first one a 2. So
okay.
Kadima with 2. My mistake.
Okay.
Flanoro with 1. But West Bend East only with 1. And Kadima comes back in for Michael Wilson.
Oh, Coach Gaz is doing is rotating his players, keeping fresh legs in there.
And Faulkner couldn't handle the inbounds. He dropped it out of bounds. Turnover number 14 on the Suns. Coming up on 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And Milwaukee King with a 14-point lead over the Suns of West Bend East. Steal by Thompson, restolen by Reed. Kadima. Antoine Warren in the game. Back to Reed. Down the lane goes Williams, blocked by Faulkner. Rebound, Ninkovic. And Ninkovic will go to the free throw line.
Now, King that time down the floor was very patient, rotated, and moved the ball around until he got a good look at the basket. But quick. There you go, right there. They were very patient, got in the lane. Ninkovic got the rebound. He's going to free throw line for 2.
Short on the first one. About the same build as his brother, but his brother probably wasn't that big when he was a sophomore. That's
no.
what Dan looked like last year. Of course, last year, King going to the championship game and losing to Stevens Point. They won it all in 91 when they beat Tosa East in overtime, and then lost in 92 to Madison West, lost in 94 the championship game to Stevens Point. They lost to Madison West in the championship game, and Jim Goss says those teams played a perfect game to beat us. The times that we've lost, teams have to play a good game.
I agree with him there. I don't know about perfect, though.
Perfect is a tough word to throw around,
yes.
isn't it?
I mean, you know,
they throw around the basketball, and it's a turnover. Restolen, though, by Faulkner. Good hustle on trailing the play. Court is scrambled. They missed Zukowski open.
Well, the King players are like mosquitoes. They're all over the ball.
And Faulkner traveled. You look at Adam Faulkner, you look at his cheeks are red, he looks gassed.
Yeah.
There you see Lee Young, 20 years he's waited for this. His assistant, Bob Liebertrau, was a classmate of King head coach Jim Goss at the University of Wisconsin lacrosse. So a little reunion here on the benches. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Still 40-26 Kings. Joining us late, that's King in the dark jerseys, the Suns in the gold. Lenoro runs over Blahnik, no call. Williams puts it back home and fouled. Boy, the Suns players are just scrapping and scrapping, but the rebounds just all keep going to the King.
Well, yeah, you can see where Flanoro got in the lane and got an off-balance shot. There was no call in the lane, and then 42 picked up the rebound, and he's going to free throw line 4-2.
And with a chance to... Be one free throw. Thank you. I was confused there. I thought that basket went in. I couldn't imagine why they wouldn't count it. Boy, was I confused. Now, that's happened before. He misses the free throw, so it winds up just being a two-point play. Thompson up ahead to Blahnik. Blahnik down the lane. Scoop. No good. Rebound King.
Well, they've only scored 5 points this quarter.
Yep. Lawrence Washington into the game. Number 12. That's him. He tried to get it into Williams. Tipped out of bounds by Zukowski. Lawrence, the younger brother of Lucius, so the brother's in there. Lee Young trying to figure out what he can do. Might want to look a little further down the bench there. Flanoro off the glass.
Now, last year he would not have used the window. He would have probably tried to shoot it straight in. That was a good look on his part.
31. Well, now a sub's going to come to the table to try and check in for the Suns, who turn it over. And here come the Generals. King. It's Corey Reed.
Well, they're at their best in their transition game.
Boy, those two guards are as lightning quick as advertised. They are something else.
From defense to offense. They worked it on defense and then got rewarded on the offensive end with a basket.
And the real reward is they're up by 20. Inside of a minute left in the third. Flanoro, the steal. Here comes the lob. Oh, he almost had it, but followed by Washington. Flanoro went down hard, but he's back up.
Yeah, in a situation like that, sometimes you want to go up and catch the ball and come down and lay the ball in.
Time remaining in the third quarter. Lawrence Washington thought he might have had one there.
Well, I don't know. You look at how quick the King players are. You go around a pick, then two others pick you up. You go the other way, two others pick you up. So you have quickness. There's never a time that you can kind of pause.
4 fouls on Washington.
Number 44, Adriel Hughes. Number 22.
Foul, I believe, was on Lawrence Washington.
And number 54.
Nate Forsey is into the game. Number 30 for the Suns, seeing his first action of the game. Only Tim Schrader and Jason Service saw action in the first half, and Service for the blink of an eye, Schrader for maybe a minute. Confusion here on what play to run as time winding down in the third quarter, and King by 22. Thompson, pretty reverse.
Something that he's probably done all year but hasn't been able to do during this quarterfinal game.
Well, King has a 20-point lead heading to the final 8 minutes. We'll come back to the field house, but first a word from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
Quick Trip presents Nature's Touch Milk in a Bag. Includes a free pitcher. It's easy to open. It's easy to close. Easy to store. Its compact size makes it easy on the environment. A very smart choice. Nature's Touch Milk in a Bag, performing exclusively at Quick Trip. It's a bonding kind of thing.
July in Yuma, Arizona. Average high temperature, 106 degrees.
Anybody with money or sense, leaves town for the summer.
Hey, we got a name for those people who don't have air conditioning. Locos.
Comfort Maker. Now that's a good air conditioner.
See your local Comfort Maker dealer, Hermson Hardware, Bloomington, A&A Sheet Metal Works, Janesville, Connors Plumbing and Heating, Monroe.
When you want high-quality home comfort, ask for it by name. Comfort Maker.
Well, welcome back to the Fieldhouse. Fourth quarter coming, and look at the field goal stats in the third there, Jim. 60%, and that led to that number right there on our card.
22-7 run.
In the third quarter, Jim Gaza's Generals outscoring the Suns 22-7.
Well, this is what he wanted to do at the beginning of the ball game, get into transition type ball game with West Bend East, and that's what he did third quarter.
Turnover on Thompson. 19 turnovers. That's another big number.
19, and really it's uncharacteristic of Mark Thompson turning the ball over for the Suns that much.
Well, to Thompson's credit, that's the guy that Jim Gaz needed to shut down, and he knew it. He couldn't let that guy get going on him. And so far, his guards have done that.
Yes.
Ninkovic pulls up and drops it down.
He's got great touch for a big man. Soft touch.
I think Jim may have been sandbagging us a little bit yesterday when comparing Damian to Dan. He might be a little more polished offensively.
Oh, I think he's probably one of the best big men offensively that I've seen that's played.
For a sophomore.
Or sophomore. And he's being a little more aggressive today. So maybe playing in Philhouse floor, maybe give him a little more confidence and a reason to work harder defensively.
Imagine we'll hear a lot more from him in the coming years, the sophomore.
I think so.
Oh, my goodness, look at the dish. Lucius DeLawrence, the brothers teaming up on a pretty play.
Well, Lucius has been the one that's made King go all year long, complimenting Reed, who's gotten a lot of credit to pass, and not taking anything away from Reed, but Lucius has really upped this game.
Faulkner gets in, fouled by Ninkovic. King player is trying to draw the foul, but Ninkovic the foul from behind. Here come the brothers Washington.
This is what Lucius Washington does well for everybody. He just happened to dish off to his brother that particular time.
Faulkner to the line. 10.6 rebounds for him. But they've been so spread out. I mean, the points have really been spread out. He hit a 3 early in the first half. Been to the line a couple times and only been able to make one. Two out of 4. Lead is 23 for King. Big third quarter for the Generals when they took command, outscoring West Bend East 22-7. Adriel Hughes
trying to take some time off the clock now.
Ninkovic shuffled the feet, trying to put a move on Faulkner. 12 turnovers for King. As Lee Young and assistant Bob Levitraw look on. That's Bob to Lee's left, the right end of your screen. There's Flanoral is back in. Corey Reed also back in, number 10. Starting guard, a 3-year starter for Jim Gaz. That's also important to mention, that backcourt that we've talked so much about, Lucius and Corey, 3-year starters for the Generals.
Yeah, I tell you, your guards are only going to be as good as your team's going to be, and these kids have been on this floor for 3 years.
Zukowski got it in low, but better not put it on the floor. Hughes picked up the foul, trying to dig it out. Zukowski suffered a badly sprained ankle in the sectional final when they beat Homestead in overtime, and Homestead, the team that knocked West Bend East out last year in the sectional final. But 3 starters back for the Suns this year. They went into overtime, outscored them 8-0 in 1 run to eliminate Homestead and move into the state tournament for the first time in school history. It had been only the 3rd time that West Bend East had ever made it to a sectional final. So a lot of hard work just to get here, as is usually the case for most teams. Good rebound by Paul Lipke. Thompson knocked down, no call. Faulkner trying to rebound Flanoral. It's a pogo stick in there, and Faulkner knocks it down.
Well, he stayed with it, but you know, you're looking over your shoulder where you see these kids that can jump really well and see that quickness too. So you kind of put the ball up a little quicker than you want to.
King by 21. Inside 5.5 in the fourth quarter. Coming up next, Janesville Craig, Milwaukee Tech.
Great pass.
Nice lead. That was Eric Williams from Washington. Boy, you could make a living if you just sat down on the blocks and waited for the King point guards to penetrate.
Well, they get the ball to you. And that's the difference, too. Whereas, West Bend East has the one kid, Thompson. You got two mosquitoes out there, number 10 and number 4, and then they go to the bench and bring 2 more young people in to apply the pressure to you.
Yeah, and here come 2 more. Michael Wilkes and Antoine Warren as Sam Flonick comes back in. I think we're going to take you on a little trip, folks. Field trip time. I hope you have your permission slips. It's the tape room of the truck. That's where all the replays happen. There's Bill Grittinger. Hey, Grits. There's a wave. Tom Siebenaller with the flannel. And he's too dark. I couldn't see that guy. Lob. Conversion. Flanoral. My apologies to our third tape engineer in there. He was in the corner. It was dark. Couldn't tell who that was. That was John. Okay, John.
I mean, this game started the first quarter. King is still applying the same amount of pressure. They're still putting pressure on the ball. They haven't quit. You have hands, arms. Wave of blue coming at you.
Cross-court pass picked off by Reed. Reed looking for help. Kicks out to Warren.
That's a great decision to bring the ball back out and wait till the other ball players came down because he didn't have an advantage on the break.
Wilkes coming down, pulls up. Rebound battle, and well, we were waiting for this, but I didn't think we expected to see it like this. We've been talking, Jim and I, about the subs and when we'd see subs by West Bend East, and Lee Young going to do it all 5 subs at one time. We'll get to him in just a second, but you wonder where the scoreboard comes from and all the graphics you see on the telecast. Right there. Whose fingers are those? Hi, Janice. How are you? You didn't break a nail in there, did you? Janice, I'll tell you, folks, you're getting just a brief glimpse of our crew. It's a long day here for the announcers as we do 6 games a day, but the crew's here an hour before we are, and they're here an hour later.
I don't think when Coach Young subbed that he wanted to sub in massive groups like that, but it's almost like he's conceded and giving some of the other kids an opportunity to get some experience on the fieldhouse floor.
Well, why don't you give me a hand here, Jim? We got to get all these names in. We got number 12, Tim Schrader is in. 22 is Matt Roberts. That looks like Nate Forsey.
Into the lineup for King, number 51.
52, Jason Service. And number 10 is Lee Young, who is the son of Lee Young, the head coach. As Flanoral comes out of the game, Deontay Flanoral is done for the day. 21 points for the senior center. I think he's impressed the college coaches in attendance. As Antoine Warren knocks home the free throw, and the lead is 26 with 3.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. Oh boy, I missed a couple kids for King in there. Let's see. 51, Quentin Powell.
Into the lineup for King, number 14, Mario Breedlove.
14, Mario Breedlove is. We're going to get a look at another one. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Outside, catching some rays. Yeah, good timing to show that after I say how hard our crew works. They choose that shot to illustrate. Jim, I think we got to get outside and get some fresh air. 21-0 off the bench.
Well, you remember we said that earlier in the ball game where, West Bend East wasn't subbing and King was subbing, and that's the result right there, 21-0.
You know, that was almost the score in minutes off the bench, too, in the first half. It was very lopsided, and that took its toll. And important, too, for King is that their starter's going to get a nice rest. Because you got to play, if you're going to win it here, you got to play 3 days in a row. Look at the move by Washington. Lawrence Washington.
The King calls on number 12, Lawrence Washington.
You can see right
Good
now.
position.
Yeah, and I don't think Coach Gauze is too happy with the young man coming down playing out of control.
Tim Schrader drawing the foul there. Well, some kids getting some valuable experience for West Bend East. Most of their seniors on this team are the starters, so a lot of juniors. 6 seniors on the team, 7 seniors on the team, as Matt Roberts scores. Matt's a senior, so he'll remember that bucket. Little walk there by Anthony Bond, number 32, and a timeout so we can take care of some business. We'll be back to the 80th Annual Boys Tournament after this word from our statewide sponsors, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and Rural Insurance. This is your WIAA network station.
Aha! Fellow party animals, what are we serving this evening? Olives over cottage cheese. Very healthy. Salsa.
Ooh, I love salsa.
Well, hello there. Cottage cheese, good fast food from the makers of milk. Whoops. Hey, a celestial snack, huh? Milk, healthy and delicious. Frozen berries and honey. Very light. Hey, it's a float. Get it? Oh, is it something I said? Milk, good fast food, does a body good.
Pride. Dedication. They're not just words to the young men and women who make it to the WIAA playoffs. Whether it's football or boys or girls basketball, these young people show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. It's the one honor that embodies the ideal that it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Welcome back to the field house where the Generals can, well, the big fella can take it easy now. Things well in hand. Top-ranked King, yes, work well done. They will be moving into the Division I semifinals against the winner of our next game, which will be Janesville Craig and Milwaukee Tech. Jim, those two teams met before this year.
Well, they met earlier this year. They met in the Christmas tournament out of Waukesha South, and Craig was up 11 to 10 points, and Tech came back and beat them. It's kind of a slow-down type game. But you'll see an up-tempo game the next game also, I think.
King shooting 50% in this game. That's pretty tough. Add to that the pressure of their backcourt. And it's been a complete game for King, although Jim Giles will tell you that's not the case. Says they haven't played a complete game all season. And I'm sure he'll say that again.
Well, I think he'll say that. I think he'll say it probably for the benefit of the young men so that they'll keep working hard, not be satisfied with what they did today.
Well, they got plenty of motivation after losing last year's championship game. Most of these same kids back this season, and they'd love to get a little revenge for that. Wow, what a pretty move there. Didn't quite go down, but style points for Chad Pilarski.
Kind of think probably Coach Gauze probably mentioned that at halftime, like we mentioned before, too. Your reasons for being here.
Three-pointer. Oh, knock it down for number 14. It's Mario Breedlove. Inside drive too strong by Jason Service. And out on the run comes Michael Wilkes. Little shake and bake, little dish. Anthony Bond spinning and walking.
Into the lineup.
And there you see Al Jackson, one of the assistants. Well, he's done his work. He can have a little refreshment. Al Jackson, his attention divided. Al's son Eric plays for Dick Bennett and UW Green Bay. And of course, they'll be in the NCAA tournament tomorrow night. They take on Purdue down in the Midwest Regionals in Texas. Al's not able to go, obviously, but half the family represented,
well,
right?
The mother's down there and some other friends are down there. And you remember Eric Jackson a few years back when he drained that three-point basket
against Tosa East in that championship 1991. Of course, Eric was back. He was just a junior, I think, then. He was back for another year. That was a powerful King team the next year. Remember, they had the 3 Division I recruits, O.J. McDuffie or Otto McDuffie, excuse me, not the wide receiver for the Dolphins.
And Brian Curry.
Brian Curry now at DePaul. and Eric Jackson went to the Phoenix, and then they lost that year to Madison West. Remember, the region's getting so hot in the second half to beat King in that championship game back in 1992.
Oh, yeah.
Well, King's going to move on into the semifinals. The Sons of West Bend East. Disappointment, their first trip here to the state tournament, as they're going to go out in the first round. But, you know, once you get here the first time, it's a little bit easier to get back. Never easy to win the games, but the confidence is there. You know you have the ability. You work hard for it to get back, because once you've had a taste of it, you want more.
You want to come back, okay? I know I'd like to come back, and I know we're going to be working hard at doing that. This is great doing what I'm doing now. It's the second best thing, but it's not the same experience to be able to coach a team on the fieldhouse floor. It's not an easy task getting here either.
Tim Schrader with 2 points. The junior into the scorebook as we wind down here our first Division I quarterfinal. Don't go away, folks. Janesville Craig and Milwaukee Tech coming up. Ken Syke will be along between games. Block inside, number 42 is Nick Martin, but a foul called. So free throws for the Generals.
42, Nick Martin.
This margin of defeat is probably the worst they've probably had this year.
Well, they only lost twice, did West Bend East.
Oshkosh North
and Plymouth in the first game of the season. So
yeah.
It's been a while. They said if we got to play number one, we like playing them right out of the gate. Eventually, you got to beat the best to be the best. So they might as well play them right out of the gate. Except it was like the starter gate in the Kentucky Derby. They were running and running and running, and it's tough to keep up with them.
I think they knew that, and you know, the hats off to Coach Lee Young. Yeah, I know you want to win it, but the ideal is you got here, and I know he'll work hard at getting back here again. Great set of seniors. Great set of seniors.
Yep. Kalanji Kadima with the free throw. And a steal by Bond. Leaves for Washington. Cleaned up by Kadima.
Basket by Kalanji Kadima.
Well, the Generals are moving on into the Division I semifinals. They dispose of West Bend East 67-35. We'll come back with the winning head coach Jim Goss, stats and highlights when we come back. But first, a word from our statewide sponsors, Menards and the Wisconsin Technical College System. This is your WIAA network station.
Carpeting from Menards adds style and warmth to your home. Supreme Elegance gives an elegant look to bedrooms, living rooms, and family rooms. It includes a 10-year wear warranty, now just $8.99 a square yard. Create your own closet with a closet organizer by Stack-A-Shelf. This organizer fits closets 4 to 8 feet wide, only $24.88 after $2 mail-in rebate. The savings stack up at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Lasers, fiber optics, superconductivity. Technology travels at the speed of light. And today's job market is changing with it. So the way to prepare for the fastest growing career areas with greater security and advancement potential will require changes too. Catch the future at a Wisconsin Technical College. The decision is simple. The answer is technical. Call the Wisconsin Technical College in your area today.
Well, there you see the impressive score by the Generals. Used a 22-7 third quarter to dispose of the Suns after they led it by only 5 at the half, and they just flat wore out West Bend East, Jim.
Yeah, their bench strength that we alluded to before halftime, and then they came out flat with about 7-point-some seconds to go. And then Coach Gauze continually kept subbing and bringing in fresh legs, and you could see that Mark Thompson and Faulkner and some of the kids didn't have the type of game that they've had over the course of the year. But a credit to those group of seniors and to Coach Lee Young. No one wants to lose, but maybe it's the beginning of something that can take place again for them.
Okay. As you mentioned, it was a blue wave and rolling over the Suns. Let's head across the court to one of the players responsible, and of course head coach Jim Goss there with our Ken Syke. Ken?
Thank you, Chris. Jim, I have a feeling that the key point in this game came when your team went down 6 points, 19-13. and you called a timeout. What happened in the timeout?
Lucius Washington said, take off the press, let us go straight man. And he's a senior, he's been around. We went to that, and you saw the results. This is a group of seniors that are very well determined to do the best they can. And I think our determination took over.
What do you think was the difference today? Obviously, you wore them down really in the second half. Why?
Our bench, the depth of our team. This is a big court. Kids are very excited. And we went 10-11 deep, and I think our bench finally showed the state that we're a very deep team, and especially this one, Wilson. He had a great game defensively.
Michael, Coach just gave you a compliment there with your defense. Is that something that's pretty important for you and your teammates?
Yeah, that's part of my main game. That's all I'm out there for. And I'm not out there to score. That's what I got the big guys for. So, you know, I just do my part.
What did you think was the difference in the second half here today?
Second half, we just stayed focused. We know we had the knife, and all I had to do was turn it. We just stayed on it.
Well, congratulations. You move on to tomorrow night's game. I'm sure you don't have any particular favorite on who you play. You're just glad to be playing.
No, I want to play Tech. It'd be great for the city of Milwaukee.
That's good. We normally get coaches saying they don't care who they play. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, congratulations. Right now, we'll take a break, and Chris and Jim will be back in just a moment, but we're going to hear from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station.
MG&E, we're proud to be here. MG&E, working with you. Planning growth, we'll be there too. We're taking pride in what you do. Proud to be MG&E, you and us.
Clarity to control. Clarity to control. Broadleaf and corn, section 4.
Control to clarity. Engage.
In the war against broadleaf weeds, Clarity has superior crop safety and zero resistance.
Got it without atrazine.
Clarity to control. Red alert. Perennial sighted, section 2.
No problem. I register no more broadleaves.
Maintain residual control till crop is grown.
Clarity, advanced technology, a higher standard of broadleaf control.
Furnishing your home with fine wood furniture is an investment in the future. And with all the ways you can customize at Shelf and Dining, you're sure to get just the right size, style, and finish that's perfect for your home. At Shelf and Dining, we sell only wood. And that specialization means no one is better at fitting your tastes, your budget, and your home than Shelf and Dining Furniture.
Shelf and Dining Furniture. Wood furniture specialists.
All of our Wisconsin-built wood furniture is on sale.
Welcome back to the field house, where our first Division I quarterfinal is in the books. The Generals beating the Suns 67-35, an impressive performance as they really put the hammer down in the second half, Jim.
And their defense did it, and you don't take any credit away from Milwaukee Kings defense. They're the ones that 34% is what West Bend East shot from the floor.
Let's take a look at the highlights, as you'll see why King had a better margin in that shooting percentage. Kadima the three, more three-point buckets today for King.
Yeah, this kid Kadima has been coming off the bench doing a real good job for Coach Gauls the whole year.
And then rebounding as well, especially offensive rebounding. The Generals working hard, and this time Eric Williams a beneficiary of that. And of course then you got to talk about the guards when you talk about the Generals, the seniors Lucius Washington and Corey Reed. And as I said before, the Suns are going to be seeing this in their sleep.
Well, the guards, King guards make it really difficult for a team to get into their offensive flow.
The other thing they do is, offensive flow. They shut off Mark Thompson, the Suns' leading scorer. This his best highlight of the day. Their leading scorer came in with 19 points a game, had just 6, 3 out of 9 from the field. So a rough day for Mark Thompson as we take a look at your leading scorers from the ball game. Deontay Flanoral, we told you about Flanoral and Faulkner. The edge goes to Flanoral with 21 points. Lucius Washington with 8. Sam Blahnik had 7 as the Sun season comes to a close at 21-3. We look at the stats, and the big one, as we were talking about in the break, the turnovers and points off turnovers, Jim.
21 turnovers, that's uncharacteristic of West Bend East, and also the defensive pressure by the Milwaukee King guards.
Well, it was pretty impressive by number 1. We'll find out who they'll face. It's either going to be Janesville Craig or Milwaukee Tech. That's coming up. Jim Jones, been a pleasure. I know you're going to stick around and watch this next one, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Chris.
All right, Jim, thank you. We'll be back. Ken Syke will be along with First a Word from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station.